San Francisco 49ers, Brandon Aiyuk has been pretty much the number one story of the offseason, not only within the San Francisco 49ers, but from afar. People are wanting to know what is going on with Brandon Aiyuk. And obviously, we saw what happened on Friday. He unfollowed the San Francisco 49ers on Instagram. We've seen that play out many times before. So, of course, you're going to have varying opinions on the severity of it. What does it mean? And all those different things. And then the bottom line is only Brandon Aiyuk knows what that means. And beyond that, everyone else is just speculating. But what it does appear is that Brandon Aiyuk in the building with the San Francisco 49ers today. If you didn't know, the first day of voluntary workouts begin in San Francisco. So it does appear, based on Brandon Aiyuk's recent post to his story, is that he looks like he's ready to go to work. And to be honest, this photo kind of looks like your first day of school type vibe. Yeah, I mean, he says day one type, so that's kind of what it feels like. Now, I haven't seen anything that has confirmed one way or the other, so we're still assuming at this point. But it does look like BA is headed to work for his. You see the gallon of water. You see the bag. Looks like he's maybe got a smoothie in his hand, something like that. Shout out Benny Hanna, the cup that he's got. And of course, his son's like, Dad, come on, man, stick around. I don't want you to go back to work. But we know that BA has admitted to being in the building, so it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Brandon Aiyuk back in Santa Clara for the first day of voluntary workouts. And again, he's talked about it. He's going to go about it the right way. He feels like he's become a leader in the locker room for showing up and doing what's required. And so that's what leaders do, is show up on voluntary days. So, hey, we know Brock Purdy is here. He's in the vicinity because he was at Levi's Stadium yesterday for his camp. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. You got Brock Purdy in the building, Brandon Aiyuk in the building. I'm not sure about guys like Debo and Kittle. I know Kittle was out kind of doing the WrestleMania stuff. I know Debo's, I believe, been working out in LA. So, and again, it's not, I don't think it's a crazy situation for those guys not to show up. I don't think it's a crazy situation for these guys to show up, but I think it's a sign of things potentially heading in the right direction. Now, obviously, anything that happens from now until the draft will just be speculation, unless we are alerted otherwise. So until then, we're just following the tea leaves, seeing what comes across social media, and see what it's all about. And so basically, how it stands is, I think I've noticed that a lot of beat reporters are starting to talk about wide receivers, and I think Mayoko and I think Barrows and even Tim Kawakami have all talked about potentially the 49ers taking a wide receiver in the first round. So there's like a shift in the kind of narrative, it feels like, about, at least the draft plans, because obviously it's been O-line, 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 O-line. And now it's like, okay, the situation's playing out with Aiyuk. Now we're seeing like, well, don't discount wide receiver in the first round. And you're just like, okay, well, great. But I think there's one wide receiver that we're trying to get to the bottom of, and that's Brandon Aiyuk, who's currently on the roster, set to play on the 5th-year option at $14.1 million. And we also saw a wide receiver get paid today. We saw Devonta Smith get $25 million per year. And that honestly is in line and kind of what I've been assuming BA would be. I think that 25 million is the floor for a BA deal. And with that deal coming through, I think that kind of solidifies that $25 million per year for BA is the floor. I've been saying 26 to 28. That's kind of the range that I've been thinking on a per year average for BA to get paid. It's been the number that I've been sitting on for pretty much predominantly the entire off season. It started at 25 to 30, and I've shrunk it down to 26 to 28. I think somewhere in that range could potentially get it done. Now, obviously, one of the other things that we've also discussed about Brandon Ayuk's deal is what's going to happen when CD Lamb gets paid. What's going to happen if Justin Jefferson gets paid? Now, we know Justin Jefferson didn't show up to voluntary workouts in Minnesota. But likely related to his contract things. I mean, the conversations around these contracts are much different. We've heard CD Lamb talk about like, oh, he's not even sweating getting paid by the Cowboys. I think he's more thinking it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to get what he deserves. So he's just kind of waiting and seeing. But I think outside of that, they're trying to determine, Justin Jefferson is absolutely negotiating the richest contract that will ever be paid out to a wide receiver. And I do imagine that it will smash what Tyreek Hill is getting, which is currently at 30 million per year on average. And he got that at the age of 28. Whereas I think Justin Jefferson is 25 years old, in that range. He's still a very young wide receiver in his peak. And again, the whole point being is, well, how does that relate to BA? So we all know that once the market is what the market is. That's what dictates these guys' prices. It's the market and production and those things tying together. And we all understand the timing with the 49ers in getting these deals done. I think the biggest thing that fans want to see is they just want to see less social media, more things headed in the positive direction. And I think, you have these two conversations, right? Well, Debo did it, and Debo got paid, and those things. And so some people are just like, it's a non-factor, non-issue. And then there's another side of what I was like, well, we traded DeForest Buckner. So it's like, I bet the truth lies somewhere in the middle. But as I've said all along, I believe the most likely outcome is, I don't know if a team can afford Ayuk in the sense of draft compensation. To me, this is a very valuable player. You don't give him up for a pick 14, pick 15, in my opinion, because I'm thinking of what he provides to this team, his relationship and his camaraderie with Brock Purdy, what he means. I believe he is a 1,800 yard wide receiver per year. And it just depends on how much you want to give him the ball. He's going to produce no matter what, but if you give him more, he's going to produce more. Simple math, right? So I think he's best asset is being on the 49ers for the 49ers. I don't think trading him away is a good thing for them getting back to the Super Bowl. I think that actually sets them back, because then, okay, well, if you do go out and you trade a pick, go get a wide receiver, go get a Brian Thomas, go get an AD Mitchell, someone like that to come in and fill in. Well, remember, BA was a first round draft pick, and he did have success as a rookie, but also like Debo, like he was a second round draft pick, really high second rounder. And I just think that there's an acclimation period for wide receivers when it comes to Kyle's scheme. And, I'm not prepared for that. If you had asked me how I wanted the 49ers to move forward, it's to pay Brandon Aiyuk, give him the money that he is deserving of. Obviously, we understand there's going to be a negotiation period, and so we have to kind of wait that period out. But for me, the outcome that I would like to see is Brandon Aiyuk getting paid and going to be a San Francisco 49ers for the next 4 to 5 years at minimum, because I believe that Brock Purdy, BA together would be the best case scenario. But You never say never in this league. Things happen, things change, situations evolve, and players get traded. Does that mean that's what's going to happen to BA? No, not necessarily. But it would be naive of us to reject the possible range of outcome that does exist. Doesn't mean we're saying that's the most likely outcome, but it is an outcome. So, as we continue to move forward with these types of things, we're just going to continue to say these are the ranges of outcomes. Have we moved closer to one or the other? I still think we're somewhere right in the middle where the most likely outcome is he will get paid, but you can't deny the variables of the draft coming up and all this smoke around other teams having interest in BA. So, best form, in my opinion, is just to be patient. Just let it play out. We'll go towards that invisible deadline, which is the NFL draft. Once we get beyond that and BA still on the roster, you can wipe away any of those conversations of potential trade. In my opinion, that's how I feel about this. But again, never say never in this league, and we'll see how it ultimately plays out. But if BA's there today, that's phenomenal. Hopefully, we'll get some firm clarification on this moving forward. But let me know what you guys think, because obviously this played out, you know, the, the trade rumors, official trade requests, the agent shutting it down. Like, oh, it's been wild. So let me know what you guys think about this, where you're currently at. Drop it in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.